one.
Going to do my intro here, or want to wait for a bit?
Yeah, let's just chat for a little bit
Okay.
while everybody starts to log in.
All right.
Got 5 viewers. Hello, everybody out there.
Hello. So I've been
Thanks for joining us.
Been watching some of Jensen Cummings' podcasts. Those are pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, he's got some really good topics.
Yeah.
I've watched quite a few of them. Pretty good.
Last week he had a couple on that started an Italian restaurant in Memphis. Oh, he's got a famous restaurant in Chicago. I can't remember their names now, but talking about how they brought some big Italian wines to Memphis, and how Memphis had never seen, like, the wine distributors there had never seen Italian wines, and they were they'd only been exposed to like the French wines and American wines, but they just didn't have an Italian wine scene there. And so these restaurateurs came in, opened the restaurant, and kind of brought the Italian wines to Memphis and stuff. And that was really interesting.
So everybody joining us, we're talking about a friend of ours or colleague of ours, Jensen Cummings. He's got a podcast called Best Served. It's on Facebook Live. Check that out. He's an awesome guy. He's got some great people on there.
Yeah, he's really interesting.
All right. Well, I think we've got everybody starting to show up. Diane, hi. Kathy, hi. Kay, thanks for joining us.
Cool.
All right. Let's do this, Jason.
Very good. Very good. Well, there's always something new to learn. Here in Rogue Kitchen, we learn by playing with our food. It's Rogue Kitchen Live. Today, we are going to play with some food. We're going to make...
In a microwave.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, in the microwave.
Yeah, in the microwave. We are going to play with food in the microwave. We're going to make some mug cakes today. We're going to do a scratch-made mug cake, and then we're going to do one that's it's kind of similar to what my mom does with the kids. It's a kind of a 3-2-1, but this one we're going to a little bit different, but we're going to do like a brownie mix and a chocolate cake mix, and put that in a cup. So they're box cake mixes. And then I found some mug cake kits at the store. So we're going to just throw one of those into a mug, and then I'll kind of compare the three. And then, of course, I'm more of a savory person, but we'll do some little Parmesan bread and some ramekins, and then we'll do like little Parmesan Puffs. And I'll explain that they actually come from they're made using a traditional French pastry dough, or savory pastry dough called pâte à jus. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But before we start, working in a kitchen, whether you're home or in a commercial kitchen, it could be a little dangerous, especially maybe even working with a microwave. It's just that high intensity heat in there, and so if you make these at home or anytime you're dealing with a microwave, and I'll do the same today, please, let's be careful. We don't want to open up our microwave and pull out that mug and then just have that hot molten chocolate cake go all over the place and burn us and stuff. So please be careful when dealing with this. Remember, no foil in the microwave, and be safe, but be happy. All right, very good. Well, let's get started on this, shall we? So I think before we get into the chocolate cake mixes, let's kind of start on our savory stuff here really, really quick, so we have some time for those to bake. So what I'm making here are Parmesan Puffs, and again, let me go ahead and get this started. And what I'm doing here is I'm adding 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. We're going to let that melt down, and then we will add our milk to that. And when we add our milk and then we add some flour, we will stir those three items together and get them get it all cooked together. It's going to look like a big ball of roux, basically. And we want to dry that out, all right, because we're going to add eggs to it, all right, and then we're going to scoop these out onto a sheet pan, and then we'll bake them, and we'll get nice big puffy little balls, if you will. So we want that mixture to be dry um, when we add our eggs, because if we have a lot of moisture in these things, then when they go to bake, they'll puff up, but then it'll have so much steam in there that they'll be nice and golden brown and cooked, but then we pull them out and they'll collapse. And we don't want that to collapse. We want them to be nice and tall and puffy. So
Yeah, and so pat of choux used for like cream puffs,
yep,
eclairs,
yeah,
but then
exactly.
savory items too, where you can you put
Gougères,
smoked salmon in there, gougères, cheese.
yeah,
They're it's a really handy recipe to actually know, and then it's really cool to do it like this in the microwave. We're just kind of showing you different ways of doing things.
yeah. We'll put a few in the oven, and we'll try a couple in the microwave too, and see how that turns out. But I melted the butter here first, and then I added the milk. You add the milk and the butter cold. What tends to happen is your milk either evaporates or it can break before your butter's totally melted, and then your dish isn't, or the mixture then isn't properly done. So I'm going to add all of the flour at once, and again we just kind of vigorously stir until all of this comes together. In fact, we did in baking and pastry last week. We did eclairs, and um, it's definitely this is definitely a technique that you want to have try a couple times and have some experience with, because if you just bring it all together like this, you think it's done. Well, it's not quite cooked all the way, So we want to stir that around a little bit. It all it's all coming together in a nice ball. It comes clean from the sides. This is what we want to achieve. All right. And typically, when you do this, you want to put the mixture in a stand mixer, and then you combine the egg yolks one at a time. But we're just going to stir it right into the pot here. It's such a small amount. So, all right, let that cook there a little bit. All right, and I'll pull this off the heat. Yeah, see, now the dough's getting a little bit smoother here. And don't worry about if if you get some of that sticky stuff on the sides of the pot, that's okay. It'll be all right. But right now, it's more of like a blonde color, like a blonde roux. Okay, and it smells a little like has a little bit of a nutty smell, aroma to it, which is what you want. I'm going to grab 2 eggs here, and all out of ramekins there. That's okay. All right.
You don't want to go too dark with it because it'll start to actually lose. When flour cooks too much, it starts to lose its the glutens and gliadins. They don't work as well.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
why a dark roux in what's it called, gumbo,
Gumbo, yeah.
doesn't quite thicken as much as a blonde roux would.
Yeah, absolutely. You start cooking that starch out, and you start weakening those protein strands in there, and then yeah, it definitely doesn't thicken as much. So, and here we want to create structure, right? It's kind of like it is bread. We want to create that structure in there. So, all right, I'm just going to mix in 1 egg here. We'll just beat that in, and you want to mix the egg in until it's completely mixed, and then thoroughly mixed in, thoroughly combined, and then we will add the other egg. So we'll do that, and but another thing we want to think about too when we are doing these is, especially when we're baking them, is we've cooked out some of that moisture, we've dried it up, and then when we go to bake them, they may look done, but again, if we pull them out too soon, they'll stay nice and puffy for a little bit, but because they have because they have moisture still on the inside of them and that steam isn't completely out, it'll actually collapse. And then we'll end up with flat puffs. It won't be puffy. And sometimes
so you're doing some
that's
legwork now to get that moisture out, right?
yeah. And combining them too, I'm working that gluten a little bit, make sure that we have make sure we get some structure to our product here. Now I'm going to take, let's see, that was a quarter cup of butter. That was a quarter cup of milk, and then a half a cup of flour. Now we're adding, and then 2 eggs. Now we're adding 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese, and we gently fold this in. And but basically, this is kind of what gougères are made out of. Gougères are pâte à jus with Gruyere cheese added to it. You can add rosemary and thyme to this if you'd like, and kind of season it up beyond that. But this Parmesan cheese has quite a bit of salt in it. I'm not going to add any more salt here, but all right. So then when we're done, we end up with this ball, like sticky dough here. It kind of clings a little bit there. All right. Now we'll scoop those right onto our.
Can you show us again? I think we had a little freeze in the frames.
Oh, freeze frame.
There we go. That's a better. There we go.
Kind of sticky, a little thick, and it's even a little tough to deal with. This particular mixture here would be a little difficult to squeeze out of a pastry bag, which is what you typically do for eclairs and for gougères. So, all right, I'm going to scoop these onto parchment paper. Typically, I like using a Silpat, but with these, we kind of want them to stick and kind of climb on themselves to create some height. And if we did it on a Silpat, the Silpat gets hot and it would, and the puff would kind of spread out a little bit. So, all right. Okay, so we're going to take these and scoop them out here a little bit. These are pretty sticky, but that's good. They'll expand, and because of the egg mixture that's in there, we'll get a nice airy consistency there. Jimmy, I have thought about doing quenelles with this stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know. We'll get to that point here. So just scoop these on, and while we're messing with our cakes, we'll bake these guys up, and hopefully right at the end we'll be able to check them out. We want to space these out about 1 inch or so. My scoop isn't working great here. It's kind of a
that's the thing with it. It's a really sticky dough.
yeah. Get a little couple small spoons here.
And
I
this
don't know
is where
about
the
you,
quenelle's
Jimmy,
great.
I'm finding that you're washing a lot of dishes lately, and when I go to look for something, it's not in the drawer. But
Yeah, I'm kind of working out of the dishwasher lately.
yeah, dishwasher, dryer.
But that's good. I mean, that means we're cooking at home more.
Yeah, I saw a thing that like with food supply chain, with the food supply chain, that obviously restaurants are seeing a lot less diners, and grocery stores, of course, are seeing a lot more, prepared meals going out, and people are obviously cooking a lot more at home.
Yeah.
That's why I thought, today was kind of fun too, because, obviously there was a shortage of flour in grocery stores a while ago. People
Yes,
were
there was.
probably doing a lot of baking at the time, or at, when, back in April, May. And, so they probably still have some flour or sugar in their pantry, their cupboard, and so kind of have all the things there to do these things with.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know about you, but we've got eggs all the time in the fridge.
Yeah, actually, my
It,
sister just brought up 18 dozen packs of eggs from her farm in Tulsa,
oh, oh man.
and we've just been crushing eggs lately.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so
Buddy.
one of the few places that you were able to get flour when everything shut down was Altamira Doorstep. And
Yep.
Altamira is a company that um, they typically do restaurant supply, and in an attempt to still supply people with food, they started delivering to your doorstep uh, restaurant quality products. And so I got a bunch of flowers on there. I know Chef Watson got a bunch of flowers. Um, I got my QP mayo from them.
Ooh.
And so they're actually, with restaurants starting to come back a little bit, they're actually starting to get a little bit busier, but they still want to continue the doorstep. And so, if you're looking for a unique way of getting groceries and getting some unique groceries, definitely check them out. I'm going to post the link in the chat. So check them out. It's really cool because you can get a produce box, and they're switching over to just a produce box where it's just a mixed bag of produce. So check that out, and they're great partners of ours. We've always ordered from them. Those
Yeah.
look awesome.
Yeah. So we got some quenelles. They're kind of falling a little bit here, but that's actually good. That means we've got plenty of fat in there, and we've got, I think, a good consistency. So we'll bake those. So about 15 minutes here. So about 31 there. We'll check those guys out. Okay. So now on our mug cakes, we got time to do those Parmesan ones. We can definitely do that. But
Yeah. So real quick, I put a poll up in the chat,
okay.
and just asking, have you baked in your microwave at home? And we got 43% yes and 57% no. So
Okay. That's still pretty good. I mean,
yeah, that's actually
43%.
more than I thought.
Yeah.
So
All right. So just reading these directions here. So I'll do, like I said, we're going to
now,
do
is
a
this the pre-made
comparison.
kit?
Yeah, this is the kit here. So
Okay.
it's perfect size for one chocolate lover's cake here. All right. And a little QR code on the back, probably for directions or. All right. And these are kind of your, look at the mug there.
Oh, it
It's,
gives you a mug too?
oh, no, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
These are
I was
mugs that
like,
I put.
yeah, that's a great kit. You get
Yeah,
a mug?
that's a great deal. Yeah, you get a Starbucks mug with your Betty Crocker chocolate lover's cake. Uh, no, this one's probably, I don't know what, 4 or 5 inches tall, maybe.
Yeah.
It's one of the shorter. It's the ones you find at Starbucks. Um,
And so how many ounces is that? Because you do want to make sure you're not using like a small little teacup, because it
yeah,
does. I
definitely.
mean, these mug cakes, they definitely grow. If you use a little teacup, you're gonna have a mess in your microwave, and that's no fun.
I'm guessing, Jimmy, these are probably 12 ounces here. Let me
Yep, and I think that's about what I've seen on most of the recipes. Is yeah,
let's see,
most of them are made for a 12-ounce mug.
8, and
Yeah,
then
you got my kids who will say, "Let's double the recipe and throw it in a 16-ounce mug."
yeah, right. Let's see here. That's 12 ounces of water there. So I mean, to the top, it's probably 14 ounces, but
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, make sure you're in a 12 to 14-ounce mug,
yeah. Okay.
unless you enjoy scraping cake off your microwave.
Yeah, that would be fun. Okay, so we need some water here. So I'm going to just going to fill up my measure container here with some water because we'll use water for all of this, for all of these.
All right, Jason. What temperature did you put the pâte choux in the oven?
Okay, right. So I put them in at 350 degrees on convection mode. So
Okay.
if you don't have convection, you bake them at 375. Okay. All right. And of course, the great thing about mug cakes is you can mix everything right into the mug here. And so we'll just use a fork. So we'll see how this turns out here on these mugs, but we're going to do 3 tablespoons of water. 1, 2, And 3, and I always use like anytime I'm dealing with water and baking, I always try to do like room temperature water, or like between like 100 to 107 degrees, 107 degrees. So this looks a little bit drier than what I was expecting here on this kit one. So we'll just mix that around. You want to make sure you get all the dry stuff out of there, so you don't have pockets of dry cake batter in your mug there. Okay. And these don't really yield a lot here on these, but again, these will probably puff up quite a bit. And
yeah, how does it look? Can you give us like, is it like a cake batter or?
yeah, absolutely. Let me turn down my screen here. We kind of have this like a cake batter. Can you see that okay?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, almost like a brownie batter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fairly
Nice.
thick. All right. So on here, my microwave is 1700 watts. So I will cook this for 1 minute. The instructions say you want to cook it for 1 minute 10 seconds, anywhere from 1100 watts and above. So we'll put it in here. We'll set it for, let's go 1 minute. And we'll see how that turns out. Oh boy. Okay. So while that's going, check out this brownie and German chocolate cake mixture here. So here I've got a bag of brownie mix and a bag of German chocolate cake mix. I was disappointed the German chocolate cake mix didn't come with the frosting, but I have some extra. I have some extra frosting in my freezer. That is my all-time favorite cake.
Yeah, that's definitely up there for me.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I also like Boston cream cakes. Those are delicious.
Yeah, definitely. All right, where are we at here? We are right here. Okay, so this is one of those like baking. It is baking, so we definitely should follow the recipe exactly. It's not like a savory cooking where you can kind of cook by feel and stuff. So basically, what I'm going to use here, I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of each mixture. So there's one of the brownie. My cake just went off in the back over here. Well, that's pretty clumpy stuff there. So then there's 2. I'll turn down the screen here so you can see this. 2, and then 3, and then the challenge later on, Jimmy, is going to be, well, how much egg and oil and water do I mix now with these cake mixes to make them full cakes? To use this stuff up.
Nope, this is strictly mug cake mix now.
Yeah, strictly mug cake mix. And then there's the chocolate cake mix. And you know what my mom does with the kids is she'll take like a angel food cake that already has the egg in there, and then another cake mixture, and she'll mix the 2 together in a bag. And then she takes 3 tablespoons of that mixture, 2 tablespoons of water, and then 1 minute in the microwave. So that was kind of fun. But
yeah, and so actually, she just said that for her 3-2-1 cake, sometimes she uses milk, cream, or half and half for a richer cake.
Oh
so
yeah,
getting a little extra fat in there and a little bit more moistness.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. All right, so we pull this guy out. Wow, that is not at all what I expected. It's pretty hot. It's done all the way through too, but
why don't you go over to that phone camera? That's a little bit.
Okay,
I think we
better?
have a little better lighting over there.
So
There we go.
It didn't come up all the way to the top here, so we probably could have done 2 pouches in there and just doubled the recipe. What was that, 6 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons of water? So we could have put 6. But it's done all the way.
That looks pretty good.
It looks very cakey.
Yeah. Now, my favorite thing to do with these kind of cakes, though, is cook it up in the microwave and have a pint of ice cream ready to go and just take a scoop and just drop it in the cup.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea, man. On the microwave or the hot cake make or the hot cake just melts the ice cream. Oh, that's great. Now Betty Duncan Hines, excuse me, that's who this is. They also give you a little packet of frosting too that we can use there. So that's always lovely. Okay, so we've got our brownie mix, our cake mix. Now we're going to add 4 tablespoons of water here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and we'll mix all this up. And then this is much looser than before. All right, so now we're going to add a couple tablespoons of chocolate chips. We've got to have that chocolate chips in there. These are really big chocolate chips.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need too many there.
It'll make for nice big chocolatey surprises in there.
Oh, definitely. That is awesome too when you can do that. And then we need 2 tablespoons of vegetable or canola oil. I'm using grapeseed oil here. I like using grapeseed oil for cooking and making salad dressings and baking. I think it works pretty well. I always like to keep brownie mix on hand. You know, sometimes 8 o'clock at night, the kids want a little snack, and well, not quite that late, maybe 7. You know.
Yeah, 8 o'clock cake. Yeah, that's all right. Maybe on the weekends.
Well, you know, now here, you know, we've got an 8 o'clock cake right here. You know, an 8 o'clock. So, okay, so that's it. So we've got 5 ingredients in here. Easy, right? So now we're just gonna pour it straight into our mug. And again, I have a feeling we could probably double these. We'll see on the scratch made one too. All right, so you definitely want to make sure that you always thoroughly mix all of your ingredients together. That way there are no dry clumps of cake mixture. Okay, let's throw that guy in the microwave. And we'll try the same again, 1700 watts. It's got a little bit more moisture in it there, but I'm going to go for 1 minute again. All right, and same time, our puffs are looking great. They're nice and puffy. Yes, nice. I'm so excited. Okay, next, now we have our from scratch one. All right, so this one's going to have all the ingredients in it. And water there. Okay, so from scratch.
Well, there's a few more ingredients. They're still really easy, and you'll see as we go through this.
Yeah, definitely. Good. That's a great point. You know, it's, still really simple here. So, all right. So on this one, I'm going to follow more of a baking technique here. What I mean by that is I'm going to have a separate bowl for my dry and a separate bowl for my wet. Now, you could definitely mix all these into a mug without having to dirty bowls. I like mixing things separately, combining them, and then dumping it into the bowl. But that's it's just.
You just like to make dishes, don't you?
I do like to make dishes. I like to make big messes. Yes. All right. So we've got our flour, our sugar, our baking powder, our cocoa powder here. We're going to add some vanilla as well. All right.
And the great thing about question out there about everybody's favorite cake. And Stephanie Hogan, lemon cake. Kathy Rice with carrot. I have 3 carrot cakes on here. Chocolate cake, and Susan with your angel food cake. Angel food cake is delicious. Yum. How about you, Jason? What's your favorite cake?
German chocolate.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's why I started this question.
Chocolate cake. Yeah.
My personal favorite is definitely a red velvet, like a real red velvet from down in the south.
Okay, so what makes a real red velvet? I mean, like
where you're either using like a buttermilk or sometimes even a little vinegar in the mix, and it kind of gives it a tanginess to it. But
okay,
it's delicious. Lola down in Covington, Louisiana, has an amazing red velvet cake.
Well, I like that. Now down there, do they use cream cheese?
Oh yeah, yep. You got to have the cream cheese icing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or frosting.
And when I was a student there, you guys made a king cake at the time, I think, and boy,
Oh yeah.
that was rich. Boy, that was good. But
Ooh, we should come up with a mug king cake.
mug king cake.
Just
Oh man, why didn't we think of that? All
just
right, I'm
don't
gonna do.
microwave the baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't want to microwave that plastic. Okay, so I got 2.5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of sugar. Um, so that, and then so
Can you
two
give us just a
tablespoons.
little tilt down?
Yeah, you bet. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. We almost need 3 cameras.
I know. Need like one up above here too. So, all right. So there's my flour and my sugar mixture. All right, and then we need 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. And so, Jimmy, we were talking about undutch cocoa powder in our meeting yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I had never heard of undutch cocoa powder. I guess maybe I just never looked for it, or even thought about it. But I'd like to check that out, see what that's
Yeah,
all about.
honestly, I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's like, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, but supposedly it has, what was it, 35,000 antioxidants or something like that?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
1,000 grams or something, and kale has like 13 or something, and so this undutch chocolate cocoa powder has a lot more. It's crazy. So, all right. So this recipe calls for a little chemical leavening here, a little booster um, in our leavening here, and that is going to be 1/4 teaspoon. I need to find a smaller teaspoon of baking powder, and that's a little tiny guy there. Boy, look at that! It's like the size of my pinky nail there. Um, so that little tiny amount of leavening, chemical leavening there is going to help us. All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when
That
you think
makes
about it, we're only making 1 serving, so you
one.
don't need a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. These are 1 servings, so you definitely have to do some math. If you wanted to make like a bigger batch and then combine them all together. But we're at 432. So I'm going to check our Parmesan puffs here, and I can see they're kind of cracking a little bit. I'm going to let those go for a little bit longer because I can tell just by looking at them that they're not fully cooked all the way. So we're going to let those go
Yeah.
a little longer there. Okay, so that's our dry ingredients. So now on our wet ingredients here, I'm going to set this guy aside. All right, we're looking for, let's see, we've got 1 teaspoon of oil here. All right, and we've got 1 egg. Find my eggs. There you are.
Don't lose your eggs.
Don't lose my eggs, man. All right, 1 egg there. 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. And then we will add 2 tablespoons of milk as well.
That's what's great about these recipes is they're also, it's like 2 tablespoons this, 2 tablespoons this, 2 tablespoons. Like, it's just easy to remember.
Yeah, exactly. 1, and then 2. And I would imagine that, if you're using, or that milk would probably be the best thing for this. Like if you're using heavy cream or something, at least in this scratch made one, it's going to be really rich, but it might come out a little bit thicker. But that I'm not sure of. I'd have to play with that a little bit. But what I like about doing this is that we can kind of play with our food and figure these things out. Test it all. So, all right. So we're going to mix this guy up here. And this mixture now is kind of an in-between that kit one. This one's going to, looks like it has quite a bit of egg in it. This one is like a thin cake batter, where that other one that's in the microwave now was quite thin. That kit one was fairly thick, but this one is kind of an in-between there. So that's what we've got on our consistency there. If you can see that, or over here.
Hold on, let me switch. There we go. Okay, yeah, so that's like a chocolate soup.
Almost like a chocolate soup. Yeah, this one's fairly thin. So, all right, we'll dump this into the
All right,
mug cup.
couple questions for you.
Sure.
Well, first of all, hey, Mahaley. She says hey.
Hey, man.
And yes, red velvet cake is the best. But your favorite is 15-layered chocolate cake. It is quite delicious as well. But Diane was asking if coffee enhances a chocolate flavor, how much coffee do you think you could add?
That's a good question. That I'm not sure.
I mean, I think if you're adding coffee, you're going to want to go with something concentrated, so either like an espresso or something. Or a lot of times in baking, I've used like instant coffee,
Yep.
just because you don't want to mess with the liquid ratio,
Yeah.
unless you're reducing the amount of water or the amount of milk.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. All right. So now, because we have this chemical leavening in here, we don't have a lot of bench tolerance, and that's the amount of time that your leavening agent is reacting with your moisture, creating the nice puffiness. And if we leave this set out for a long period of time, we lose that, and we lose our nice cake. Ooh, that turned out pretty good, actually. All right. So, yeah, let me show you here. So again, I'm going to do 1 minute on this. And if you've noticed, I've kind of left these sit in the microwave after it's done baking. Because again, I want to be safe, and I don't want to open that up and pull it out, and it might explode. It may not. But I just let it sit in there for a little bit. It's still pretty hot, but that's our finished product there. Has that nice cakey top. Oh man, that looks great.
Oh, that looks good.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's some melted chocolates down on the bottom. Nice gooiness on the bottom there. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah.
All right. The good thing about this is I can go upstairs and make this.
Yeah, right.
You,
This you can definitely do. I know we always joke about how, oh, I didn't put my vanilla extract in there. Oh well. How Jimmy never gets to taste anything. And what day was it? We did that little pizza thing and the green gazpacho soup. And
oh yeah.
Mackenzie was there, and so she'd been doing these Facebook shows with us.
Yeah, I think Mackenzie's tasted more than I have.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny. She had a big smile on her face, but that was cool. All right, let me finish washing these guys up, just because we're going to use these bowls.
Thank you, Mackenzie, for everything you do.
Yeah, Mackenzie's the one that puts all this together for us and does all of our social media stuff and
keeps us on track.
Yeah, she's doing a great job with it, I think. Good job, Mackenzie. Thank you. And thank you, Jimmy, for doing all the audio and visual and everything else you do for our school. Jimmy Webb does a lot.
Well, thank you for doing all the cooking.
Oh, yeah. Fun.
That takes a lot of planning and work.
Okay, we are almost done with these guys. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go just a few more minutes here on this and see how those turn out. But those are turning out really, really nice over there. So, all right. So let's go ahead and check out our cake. Whoa.
Oh, what happened here?
So this one really, really puffed up a lot. This is cool.
And this is the homemade one, right?
This is from scratch, yeah. And it's done all the way through. So I used a little chopstick there and pushed it down in, and it's all done all the way through. But look at how puffy that got. Look at that. I mean, that's a full.
Oh, nice.
That filled up 12 ounces of that mug right there. So that's impressive. considering that the other one's just
Now,
kind of like
I'd feel
halfway.
better about being served a full mug of cake than a little half mug of cake.
Yeah, 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 definitely. But
All right, let's see it.
well, yeah, we still got some. Yeah, we still got some raw batter in the bottom there, folks.
Ah,
Mm-hmm. So
or is it supposed to be more of a molten cake?
no, it's definitely supposed to be cooked all the way through. So I'm gonna go another 40 seconds here, and we'll see how it works out. We might have that kind of that rubbery, that tougher top on it there, and a nice molten on the inside. But I don't know. We'll see here. But
Hmm.
um, wondering to do this again later on and maybe cover it with plastic wrap or something. I don't know if that would help or not.
Oh,
But
so it's steams in there maybe?
yeah,
If you do that, definitely be sure to be careful when you pull it out
pull
because
it out.
all
Definitely
that
good
steam in
call.
there,
Yeah,
yeah,
good
you gotta
call.
watch out for that.
Yeah.
But also, don't let it sit in there for too long because that plastic wrap will suck down into the cake
Yes.
after it cools down.
Yes. My roommate and I used to make food art. We would cover plates. We would reheat
Oh,
strap, cover it really tight, and let it sit in there, and it would suck, and you could turn the plate. It would
yeah.
art. But so
There's
now,
something
even with
satisfying
this,
about that.
even going longer now, it really puffed up.
Oh, is it? Oh, it even raised more.
Yeah, it's huge. So
I wonder what texture's like with that now.
I know that's I'm to find out. Okay, now we are totally cooked on this. So that was about a minute 45 or a minute 40 seconds, right? And as soon as I pulled the cake back, it really deflated there. Um, but this one definitely looks a little more like pudding like. Um, definitely
Ooh.
lighter in color. And
Well, how's it taste?
yeah,
Oh, that looks hot. You should probably wait.
yeah, it looks really hot, huh? But it definitely has like a more of a firmer texture.
It almost looks spongier.
That tastes like a homemade cake.
Oh, nice.
Um, I think the texture could be a bit crumblier, um, maybe with some cake flour
Cake flour instead of the all-purpose.
instead of the all-purpose. You might get that. Um, but again, I think going into it, stirring it up, I could see a lot of egg in there, and so this is kind of close to a souffle texture almost, and
Oh, nice.
so but it's not like chewy or like rubbery like I thought when I first looked at it. um I mean, it definitely falls apart in your mouth a lot faster than I thought. But I like that one. You said you get a lot more, I think a lot more cake out of that, um than compared to well, yeah, so, you get that nice airiness to it. But it definitely tastes like a real homemade cake. So
Cool. Well, that's what we're looking for, right? I mean, it is made at home.
yeah, exactly. All right. So now pull out our little Parmesan puffs here.
Yeah, let's see those.
Yeah,
Ooh, that looks good.
these look really good. You can tell they're fully cooked. They're nice and light, and
Yeah, and they hold their texture, and they should be nice and puffy on the inside.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
fully cooked on the inside. They're fully baked, um, and they have
Fully baked, but they still kind of have a creaminess inside, right?
a little bit.
Oh, it's just like a softness, kind of.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, very cheesy texture on the inside. Um, these are something you could serve like with a salad, or you could serve them as an appetizer, um, like with a nice tomato sauce or something like that. Um, but yeah, no, those are pretty fun. Um, and again, you could add some herbs to them, some chives. Um, I've got our compound butter we made a few weeks ago. Y'all remember that?
Oh
We've
yeah.
got that. We could add to. We've got some goat cheese. We can make like a goat cheese herb butter mixture, and we could spread that on there and eat them like that. So um, that'd be fun. Okay, you see, we've got time, I think, Jimmy, for one last one here. So let's try
Oh right.
these Parmesan bread things and see what we get with that. So we've got some almond flour here. Again, we've got the baking powder here. We've got our Parmesan cheese right there. And then, see, we've got one large egg and
Thanks for joining us, Mahaley. Enjoy class.
Mahaley taking off.
Yeah, she's got class, so.
Okay. Thanks, Mahaley. Have a good class. All right. Sorry, folks. I went over these recipes earlier and I totally forgot.
That's all right. We'll just stare at your cheese
There
puffs
just stare at the cheese puffs. Yeah.
and just drool.
All right. Teaspoons, tablespoons. I lost all my tools. Teaspoons there. Nope. Yep. Teaspoons there. Where did my tablespoon go to? Oh, there it is. Okay. Here we go. So I don't have backups of all my tools there. But
Yeah, just get more out. Make more of a mess.
make more
I'm
of a
sure your
mess.
wife will be happy with that.
Well, she won't be home till later, so I've got some time to clean up. All right.
Yeah.
So we have 3 tablespoons of almond flour. I actually don't mind the texture
Ooh, I like
of
this
almond
one.
flour. Kind of
I
fun.
love it.
Yeah, it's good. Half a teaspoon of baking powder here. So again, we're using that chemical leavening to help us with some lift there. And we got a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Usually I have all this stuff measured out, but today you get to watch me measure. All right, so 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese straight in. All right, and then another egg. And voila. And again, this one you can add some fresh herbs to if you'd like. Got some basil, some dried basil from the garden in here.
Oh, you dried your basil?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Voila. There we go. All
Oh,
right.
there's everything.
There's everything. Yeah. I've actually got a whole another bag in the dry storage there, but we'll crumble some basil up in there. That'll be yummy. All right. We'll go ahead and mix this up. This is going to be an interesting little thing here. But again, this is just a single serve thing. So I'll try this. That's pretty fun. And then your mixture is this. There's a wet mixture here.
All right. Okay.
A wet mixture here. So it's not, it doesn't look like it's going to be overly dry or anything. So, all right, we'll put this guy into a bigger ramekin here. Scoop that right in. And we'll make sure that we kind of smooth it out on the bottom. And these will be fun because we can make like little sandwiches with them, or we can make little, spread some, well, like avocado toast,
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Nice.
make up a little smushed avocado, toast these in the oven, for a little bit. Okay, we're going to go 1 minute 90 or 1 minute 30 seconds here. So we'll go 1 minute 30 seconds. We'll see what those look like. All right. So, I love playing with this kind of stuff. Experimenting with different things is kind of fun. So, on our
What's cool is like you're experimenting and you can just do like one quick little recipe. It's not like
yeah,
you're
right.
committing to like a huge thing of cake or a huge thing of
Yeah,
Parmesan Puffs or something.
exactly. Yeah, no, that's That's exactly right. And you're not wasting a lot of product, and yeah, those are kind of fun. Nice and crunchy. Those would be
Yeah, I
cool.
remember when you made those gougères with Gruyere, and you did it on the silpat, and they flattened out. Now, while it
They're
didn't
like,
look great, we got to eat those, and that was one of the best weeks of my life.
yeah, I had like Gruyere cookies, like a gougere cookie or something is what they turned out to be. But no, those are kind of fun, and it's one of those where it's like, oh, whoops, we made a mistake and maybe created a new food. I don't know. You know, it's like a savory cookie instead of a sweet cookie or something. So
Yeah, cheese twill.
cheese twill, yeah, and we used that in a beer tasting event. I think that was fun. So, all right. So we're 2 seconds away here. All right, let's check this guy out. Wow, really puffy. Yeah, I think we're good here on that guy. Kind of fun. It's done all the way.
Oh wow!
Smell the basil, but there you go.
Oh, that looks
See when I put it
awesome.
in there. When I put it
Oh,
in there,
hold on.
like not quite half the size of the ramekin, and now we've filled
Oh, it
up
looks
the.
like it's got a good texture too.
Yeah, it almost looks like an egg. It pops right out of there. Well, that's fun. A little
Steaming hot.
steaming hot there.
Yeah. So what's kind of cool about these microwave recipes is like you're heating the liquid up so fast that that's what helps everything to leaven, right? Because like you're boiling the water so fast.
Yeah, and it's like, when you bake something and we get what's called oven spring, that initial
Yeah.
shock of heat, the first few minutes that the bread or the dough is in the oven or the batter's in the oven, and yeah, you get that creation of steam fairly quickly. That causes everything to really spring up, and then you get that egg to set in there. You get all the proteins in the gluten in the flour to set, and that creates that structure to hold everything together in there. So yeah, in the microwave, yeah, Jim, you're absolutely right. It's that really almost instantaneous shock of heat, creation of that steam, and so we get that nice little puffy texture on there. So that's
Yeah.
kind of fun
Pretty
there. But
cool.
yeah, so man, isn't
All right.
science of food pretty cool? All
Yeah.
right.
All right, Jason. You have been officially challenged
Okay.
by Aaron Rice to a chili
Okay.
cook-off.
To a chili cook-off. All right. Well,
All right. How are we going to turn this into a Facebook Live chili cook-off? Because I'll
yeah.
throw down too.
All right. Well, Aaron would have to get a personal Skype account, right? Could we do that?
Oh yeah,
And like,
totally. We could do a little chili throwdown.
okay, and
Um,
I think his
and
chili goes into a slow cooker. I think a crock pot.
uh, uh, well, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, any good chili should cook for at least 4 hours.
Right. Right. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how you judge that either, or how you. We'll have to
Oh,
figure that out.
we'll do a poll and people could just judge it on looks.
There you go. All right. Sounds good. All right. So we've got
Yeah. What all do we have here?
yeah. So wow, we did pretty good today, I think. Um, got a few cool little quenelles here, but we've got our savory Parmesan puffs here. All right. Didn't get as hollow, but I think because of the cheese that was in there,
Yeah, it kind of binds together.
kind of binded everything together. But typically, pat as you will create these nice big pockets so you can fill them with stuff. But still, like I said, these are nice and tender. They're not chewy. They're not really hard on the outside to where you just can't eat them. But again, these would be great dipped in some marinara, or even heck, even that romesco sauce. I think we're going to make next week. Those would be great in there. This was the mug kit. And of course,
This
as
is
I'm
the
looking at
store-bought kit.
store-bought kit. In fact, if I can maybe do this here really quick.
Oh, there we go.
If we can look at the texture of all three of these, each one has different textures to it. The kit one here looks quite a bit more grainy. This one definitely looks more like crumbly, almost like your typical cake mixture, right? And then this one looks a little bit more like a souffle. So it's a little bit more dense to it. And it definitely has a much tighter structure to it. All right. And this one is quite heavier too. So, all of these kind of had the same amounts of dry and wet ingredients added to them. And we got varying yields out of it. The mud kit there was probably our least, and then our packaged cake mix, our 2 cake mixes there, they were a little bit more, but then this from scratch one just really puffed up. It was huge, and you got that nice, some nice melted molten on the bottom there, and whatnot. So that's three different recipes, using kind of 3 different techniques. And 3 very different results. That's kind of fun. And then, of course, we had our almond flour cheese bread here. And
And so what would you do with that? Like, let's say we're...
So this, I would almost, because of the way it puffed up, I'd almost cut that in half and kind of toast it in a pan with just a little bit of oil. And then, maybe spread some avocado mixture on there like you would an avocado toast or something. And, do that, or make like a goat cheese spread or something like that to put on there.
Or even pour some chili over it.
Or pour some chili over it. There you go. I'm going to try this again, but with cornmeal. See what kind of if you make a microwave.
Oh, yeah. Oh, microwave cornbread.
Microwave cornbread. See how that turns out.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but you never know. So, all right. Very good.
Right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for our microwave cooking today. Again, it's always fun, I think, to play with different foods and try different things. So next week, I'm pretty sure we still have her. We're going to have Esther Ann Steen. She's an alumni of MSU Denver. She was actually in one of my classes when I taught food prep and science a couple years ago. And she went over to Spain and did an internship with a 3 Michelin star restaurant. And she's going to swing by and talk to us about her experiences at MSU and in Spain. And we're going to cook up a kind of a favorite of the region she was in. And we're going to do croquetas and romesco sauce. So I'm really excited to try that.
Nice.
Really to Esther again and see how her experiences went. So until then, you got anything else?
No, I think that's it. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks all. Appreciate you. Have a good week.
Bye.